All right, I'm Angie Hooper from Happy at Law, and we're going to start with what do you need to know or have to get started in your business? You've got the idea, you've got the dream, and if you're here, you probably also got the fire in the belly, right? So, where do you go from there? What's the first step? We're going to talk a little bit more detail around what kind of form of business that you want to choose in the future. But before we get there, I want you to sort of gather up some information and think about what sort of business, what form of business is going to fit your life. So, things that you want to think about are, where am I going to conduct business, right? Am I going to be mostly or entirely online? Am I going to have a physical location? What is it that I'm providing? What's the service or the goods that I am providing to my clients and customers, right? Are you selling a physical product? Are you selling a digital product? Maybe you are selling a course or a set of services like consulting or coaching or branding, right? And so knowing those things right off the bat are going to help you make some decisions that you're going to make as we go through this overview of how to form your business and how to get started. That's going to help you figure out where to go from here. One of the first things you want to think through is going to be how many people are going to own your business, right? And that seems like it might be an obvious question, but to really want you to take a moment and think it through. Are you an army of one? Do you have a spouse or a partner who's going to support you in your business? Do you live in a state where the business you create is going to be marital property, right? So think through some of those things. And if that's a conversation you need to have with your sweetie, now's the time to do that before you create the business, right? Before you build that success. So you guys are on the same page. Now, if you've determined that you are an army of one, then that is fantastic. There are many successful entrepreneurs who operate as solopreneurs, right? Maybe it's not your spouse or your sweetie who's in business with you. Maybe it's a longtime trusted colleague or a family member or a friend, right? As you think about who's owning the business with you and operating it, as you go through the process of creating your business, you're going to have opportunities to think about how you want that relationship to unfold, right? And now at the beginning is the time to have those conversations about what happens if one of us loves the business and one of us doesn't. What happens if one of us can tolerate more risk and tolerate lower revenue while we build and one of us cannot? So if you've got someone else in your business, it's now is the time to have those conversations, and knowing who's going to own with you or if you're going to truly be a solo owner is really important to know now. One of the other things we want to think about is, where are your clients going to be located, right? That's going to drive some decisions you make. Are you ever going to see your clients in person? Are you ever going to deliver to them in person? Is everything going to be shipped? Are you going to have an office or a showroom, or are you going to have a shop or a storefront? Knowing those things going in helps you decide which risks you need to spend the most time protecting yourself against, and which risks maybe don't matter that much to the business. The likelihood of something occurring is so low that you don't need to worry about that one. You need to worry about this other one. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we go through the process. So when you're ready to create your business and you know what kind of business you're going to need as we go through that part of the decision making, you're going to want your either your social security number for yourself or your taxpayer ID. If you've gotten a taxpayer ID for the IRS, you're going to want to know what the address of the business is going to be. You're going to know what to decide where the business is going to be located. Some of those things are going to be your information, and some are going to be information you're going to create for the business. So, those are some of the basic things that you're going to want to know on the business formation side before you get too far down the road. So, next, let's talk about what kind of a business structure is right for you. All right, I'll see you there.